Hello students, hope you are all fine. Welcome to my class. Today we learn about structure of plasma membrane. The cell membrane is otherwise called as plasma membrane was discovered by Swiss botanist Carl Nageli and C. Kramer in 1855. This cell membrane is formed by lipids and protein molecules, which are held together by non-covalent interactions. The basic structure is made up of continuous lipid layer, and this continuous lipid layer is interrupted here and there by proteins, carbohydrates, or other molecules. The cell membranes are dynamic and fluid structures, and the lipids and proteins can move in the plane of the membrane. It's a fluid structure and it is having the continuous layer of the lipid bilayer, and in this structure, in the fluid nature, lipid and protein components can move in the plane of the membrane. All the membranes are asymmetrical structures. That means the distribution of the lipids and the proteins differs, which reflect the different functions of the two sides of the plasma membrane. That means the proteins and lipids which are distributed on either side of the plasma membrane, one towards the extracellular side, another one towards the cytoplasmic side, they are not symmetrical, they are not uniform in their distribution. Instead, they are asymmetrical. So this reflects the, or it will impart, or it will give the different function proteins, or the different functions will be assigned to the external surface or the extracellular space of the external surface of the plasma membrane, or towards the cytoplasmic surface of the plasma membrane, because of the asymmetrical distribution of proteins and lipids. And this plasma membrane is ultra thin. It is very thin, of 8 to 10 nanometer, and it is elastic and semi-permeable. It will not allow all the molecules inside the or through the plasma membrane. Although the composition of the lipid and protein components vary, the concepts for the basic structure and the organization applied to all intracellular cell organelles and the plasma membrane. Though the asymmetrical nature is there for the plasma membrane or the structure of the cell membrane, but this structure is uniform to all this is the basic structure of all the cell organelles which are covered with the cell membrane and the plasma membrane. Many theories were put forth to explain the structure and function of the plasma membrane. And the theories which were put forth to explain the structure of a plasma membrane are the bilayered model or the unit membrane model. These two models fails to explain the complete structure and function of the plasma membrane. Later in 1972, the two scientists Singer and Nicholson, they proposed a theory. That theory is called as fluid mosaic model, was able to explain all the most of the functions of the plasma membrane along with the structure, and this is currently accepted the model for the structure of the plasma membrane. Many theories or many models were put forth to explain the structure of plasma membrane, and they failed to explain the structure and function of the plasma membrane, hence they were not accepted. But later in 1972, the Singer and Nicholson, they could able to explain the structure of the plasma membrane, and That model is called as fluid mosaic model. In fluid mosaic model, the plasma membrane is a mosaic component of the phospholipids, cholesterol, and proteins. And these components, they move freely and fluidly in the plane of the membrane, and this fluid mosaic model will be compared to the continuous layer of, it is having it will be compared to the ocean, wherein it will be having the continuous water. What we see in the ocean will be compared to the lipid layer, and here and there in the polar region, when you find the icebergs, will be compared to the proteins and lipids and the cholesterol, which are distributed here and there. And this is the fluid mosaic model. You have the continuous layer of the lipid, which is interspersed, or its continuity is broken here and there by the protein molecules. And these proteins or the phospholipids or the cholesterol, they move freely. That depends on the saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid. So that you will learn in the next coming slides. The phospholipid bilayer. So you will find in the plasma membrane two layers of the lipid. The two layers of the phospholipids, they are placed one above the other, and they are placed one above the other, and hence it is called as bilayer. And its continuity is discontinued, or it is dispersed by the proteins, or it may be the glycoproteins or the glycolipids or the cholesterol molecule. Apart from this, these proteins, depending on their integration or the level of penetration inside the lipid bilayer, these proteins are also called as integral proteins and the peripheral protein. And the plasma membrane is a phospholipid bilayer having the mosaic distribution of the peripheral and the integral membrane proteins, along with the glycoproteins and glycolipids and cholesterol in the animal membranes. This is the outline of fluid mosaic model explaining the structure of the plasma membrane. I told you in the previous slide, the plasma membrane is having phospholipid bilayer. So this is the phospholipid bilayer, which are placed one above the other. And this continuous layer of the phospholipid is interspersed here and there by the proteins. They may be buried deep inside the phospholipid layer, or may be superficial in their location. They may be towards the cytoplasmic phase of the plasma membrane, or towards the external surface of the plasma membrane. Along with that, we also have the proteins complexed with the carbohydrates, or the lipids which are complexed with the carbohydrates. In addition to this, we also have the cholesterol. The four-membered ring structure, that is cholesterol, is also moving inside the lipid fluid layer of the plasma membrane. The principal components of the plasma membrane are, when you come to the composition of the fluid mosaic model, it is composed of lipids, that includes phospholipids and cholesterol, and proteins and carbohydrates. These carbohydrate groups are not independent. They are not individual the sugar molecules that are located inside the plasma membrane, but that are attached to the some of the lipids and proteins. If the carbohydrate is attached to the lipid, it is called as glycolipid. If it is attached to the protein, it is called as glycoprotein. Chemically, plasma membrane is composed of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. In lipids, you have phospholipids and cholesterol, and proteins are there in complex with the carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates also complexes with the lipids. So this is regarding the chemical composition of the plasma membrane. If you take up the phospholipid or the lipid component of the plasma membrane, it is amphipathic. The phospholipid is amphipathic, having hydrophilic head region and hydrophobic tail region. The head region is having the glycerol, which is attached to the fatty acid tails. These fatty acid tails may be saturated with no double bonds or may be unsaturated fatty acid. Due to the double bond, you will find the bending of the tail region or curling of the tail region. And this glycerol, it is attached to the phosphate group that will give the negative charge to the, or it will give the hydrophilic end to the phospholipid. And hydrophilic means water loving behavior, and hydrophobic, which is water hating. Hydrophobic means water hating property will be given. And it is amphipathic, having hydrophilic end and the hydrophobic end. And when you see the plasma membrane, the head region having the hydrophilic heads will be facing the external surface of the plasma membrane. And since the plasma membrane is the phospholipid layer is bilayer, two layers are there, towards the cytoplasmic region also will find the head region. So on either side of the lipid layer, phospholipid bilayer, the water molecules or the fluid molecules will be there because of the hydrophilic nature of the head region or the phospholipid. So it is amphipathic, made of glycerol, fatty acid and phosphate linked head group. The biological membranes usually involve two layers of the phospholipid with their tails pointing inwards. So the tail regions having the saturated or the unsaturated fatty acids are hidden inside the structure of the plasma membrane. And with these hydrophilic ends will be in contact with the fluid inside the cell or outside the cell. Animals have an additional membrane component, that is cholesterol. It is found alongside of the phospholipid in the core of the membrane. In the core region we will find the cholesterol also in the animal membrane. Next, coming to the proteins. The proteins are the second major component of the cell membrane. There are two main categories of the proteins depending on their localization or their penetration inside the plasma membrane. One is integral protein and another one is peripheral protein. Integral protein. Let's learn about integral proteins. These are the proteins. They are integrated inside the membrane. They are buried deep inside the membrane. They have at least one hydrophobic region that holds them, that anchors them to the hydrophobic core of the phospholipid bilayer. So for a protein to consider it as integral protein, it should have at least one hydrophobic region to gel with or to stay with or anchor with the hydrophobic core of the phospholipid bilayer. And these integral protein, they stretch from one side of the membrane or to the other side of the membrane. See here. So these integral proteins, they may stretch from one side or from the other side of the membrane. Sometimes they may be observed across the membrane. they may be penetrated throughout the phospholipid bilayer, and they extended all along the across the plasma membrane, and they are called as transmembrane proteins. Now, integral proteins are deeply buried inside the plasma membrane, and to consider it as the integral protein, it should have one hydrophobic region to stay with the hydrophobic core of the plasma membrane, and these integral protein may be visible on one side or on the other side. Sometimes these integral proteins will be extended all the way across the plasma membrane, and they are called as transmembrane proteins. Some integral membrane proteins form a channel that allows ions or small molecules to pass through. So they also act as the transporters across the plasma membrane for small molecules and the ions. So this is very important. This integral protein, membrane proteins, or the extrinsic proteins will be asked for short notes. Next we will take up the peripheral proteins. These are also called as the extrinsic proteins. As the name suggests, they are not deeply buried inside the plasma membrane. Instead, they are superficially adhered or anchored to the surface of the lipid bilayer. So these are attached either to the integral proteins or to the phospholipids. Since they are superficially placed, the isolation or the separation of the peripheral protein is very easy compared to integrated proteins. And these peripheral proteins do not stick into the hydrophobic core of the membrane due to the lack of the hydrophobic end, and they tend to be more loosely attached to the surface of the phospholipid bilayer, or they may be attached to the integral proteins. Next, coming to the carbohydrates, that is the third major component of the plasma membrane. These are found on the outside surface of the cells, and they are bound either to proteins to form glycoproteins. In complex with the proteins, these carbohydrates, either they exist as glycoproteins, or in complex with the lipids, they exist as the glycolipids. So carbohydrates will not be independent. Instead, they are complexed with either proteins or the lipids, and they exist as glycoproteins or glycolipids respectively. These carbohydrate chains may consist of 2 to 60 monosaccharide units, and they can be either straight chained, or they may be branched. They may be straight chained carbohydrates or may be branched, and they, on hydrolysis, you may get around 2 to 60 monosaccharide units. Along with the membrane proteins, these carbohydrates form distinctive cellular markers that allows the cells to recognize each other. So the cellular markers will be varying from one organism or one type of the cell to the another type of the cell. That's mainly because of the difference in the composition of the carbohydrates, and these markers play a very important role in immune system, in recognition of the receptors, or in recognition of the antigen, or in recognition of the antibody. So the carbohydrates play an important role. They'll give the distinct composition to the cell membrane, and they play an important role in immune reaction or immune system. Next, coming to the membrane fluidity. We all know the plasma membrane is elastic, ultra thin, and it is semi-permeable, and it is having the fluidity. That means it is having the phospholipid bilayer, which shows the fluid nature. The membrane fluidity is due to the saturated and the unsaturated fatty acid tails of the phospholipid is important in determining the fluidity of the plasma membrane. Depending upon the type of the cell, whether it is made up of saturated fatty acid or unsaturated fatty acid, the fluidity of the plasma membrane varies. At cooler temperatures, the straight tails of the saturated fatty acid without double bond can pack tightly together, making a dense and fairly rigid membrane. If the membrane is made up of saturated fatty acid, the tails will be straight. So the packing them together will be very easy. Due to that, it will give dense and rigid nature to the plasma membrane if it is made up of saturated fatty acid. If suppose the cell membrane is with unsaturated fatty acid, due to the presence of the double bond, you won't get the straight fatty acid tails. So it will show the bent structure due to the double bond, due to which, because of this, a membrane containing unsaturated phospholipid, it is very difficult to pack them tightly, due to which unsaturated phospholipids will be fluid in nature at very low temperature than a membrane made up of saturated fatty acid. So if you take the particular if you consider this fluidity at particular temperature, and you have the two type of the cell, A cell is made up of saturated fatty acid, B cell is made up of unsaturated fatty acid containing phospholipids. The fluidity will be more in the B cell, which is having unsaturated fatty acid, compared to the A cell, which is made up of saturated fatty acid. Saturated fatty acid will give them rigid nature, dense and rigid nature, but unsaturated fatty acid will give you the increased fluid nature at particular temperature. I hope you understood the structure of plasma membrane. So what are the theories put forth to explain the plasma membrane, and which is the most accepted theory, that is fluid mosaic model, who proposed this, and then composition of the plasma membrane, and how they predicted the structure of the plasma membrane, and important components like lipids, phospholipids, cholesterol, proteins and carbohydrates. And at last you learnt about the fluidity of the plasma membrane, how it will be explained biochemically. Okay, thank you.